Are there any updates on Utopia of the Seas? No, and there's two reasons for it. One, there aren't any updates, but also Cruiseology. Royal Caribbean does not like talking about new ships that aren't the next new ship, Cruiseology. So Icon of the Seas is the focus. They want people focused on Icon of the Seas. They don't want people saying, oh, there's all these updates about Utopia of the Seas. I'll wait and not book Icon. They want you to book Icon. They want you to get excited about Icon. And then when Icon is here, then say, oh, yes, now get excited for Utopia. It's a marketing thing. They've been doing this for years and years and years. So, no, there's no updates to share, but it's not uncommon for this to occur. The same phenomenon occurred with Wonder of the Seas and Icon of the Seas. When Wonder was coming out, there were no updates about Icon. Now we're getting many more updates. So it's just a process. Cruiseology. Patience is a virtue, as they say. There will be more updates, but this is why there haven't been many updates right there. So, yeah. Look, a guaranteed room. Our guaranteed room is bad. Am I just getting the leftover room that nobody else wants? Good question. Now, Leah, I think, pretty sure in Thursday's video, so the newest video that's on our channel right now, I talked about cabins to avoid. I talked about guaranteed cabins. So guaranteed cabins are not necessarily bad. What it basically means is they're unsold rooms. Doesn't mean they're bad rooms or that the rooms that nobody else wants. It means they're unsold rooms. And remember, depending on the category you picked, Aaliyah, there could be hundreds, if not thousands, of these cabins to choose from. So, it's not unreasonable or unlikely that there'll be unsold rooms. I wouldn't look at it necessarily as a negative. Now, that being said, Aaliyah, you could be put potentially in an obstructed view cabin or a less desirable cabin, like maybe all the way forward or all the way aft. But you're saving money. So there's pros and cons. There's pros and cons to every cabin out there, Aaliyah. There's good arguments to be made to go with guaranteed or not. I hope the money you're saving with the guaranteed cabin allows you maybe to, book an awesome excursion, a drink package, or heck, even another Royal Caribbean cruise. But I wouldn't look at it necessarily as an inherent negative, but there is that potential. Again, I think I talked about this in the video that I posted on Thursday, but if I didn't, you could get a less desirable room. It is possible. But depending on how much money you're saving with that, it might not be a bad thing. So I don't want to scare you, be like, oh, Leah, you're going to get a terrible room selection. Not necessarily the case right there. What decks are best to stay on when picking a stateroom? The only thing I don't think it matters other than one thing, which is to make sure that you have the deck above your room and the deck below your room, immediately above you and immediately below you, are staterooms. Like, you don't pick a cabin that's right below the pool deck, as an example. Otherwise, no, it doesn't matter at all. I would just pick whichever deck you want to be like. You want to be closer to the promenade or the pool deck? That's personal preference, but otherwise, it doesn't matter. What did I think of the new menu items, specifically the vegan items like the bolognese and eggplant? The bolognese was better than the meat option. The eggplant was terrible. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't like mint chutney. So that was, you can ask Angie. We tried it. It was not great. But I had the vegan bolognese. I had the vegan brownie. They were really good. I really like them quite a bit. So yeah, in fact, I think the vegan bolognese was better. I had the same night, Kelly. I had the chicken parm, which had spaghetti, and the vegan bolognese was way better. I mean, actually, just in general, yeah. So it had more flavor to it, which I really liked. Would you get the dining package for a 5 or 7 night sail and go on a Navigator of the Seas? Sure, I like the dining package. I wouldn't say, Galaxy, like, if you're brand new to cruising, don't feel like you need to get a dining package at all. I like the main dining room. But, if you've been there, done that, or you've cruised a couple times and you want to augment it and try something different, sure, the dining plan can be a great idea. But what I think, unfortunately, because we talk so much about the dining package and the drink package here on this channel, I feel like a lot of new cruisers feel like, oh, we've got to get these things or we're missing out or it's a problem. No, you can have a great time. I just did a 3-night cruise in the main dining room. When we go on Wonder of the Seas in March, we're actually going to spend, not every night, probably like most nights, in the main dining room. I think it's great being in the main dining room. But, obviously, if you've cruised before, or even it's your first cruise, as long as you understand the complimentary options are good, don't look at it as a negative, then sure, the dining package for a 5 or 7 night sailing is definitely a great idea. How do I know how many formal nights my cruise will have if and when they have theme nights? There's a chart somewhere, but if you have a 7-night cruise, it's 6 nights and longer, you'll have 2 formal nights. Less than 6 nights, you'll have 1. And then they don't add a 3rd formal night until you get to, like, at least, I think, 14 nights, maybe 13. And for theme nights, Royal Caribbean really doesn't publish that information in advance. You might see it in the app Jessica like a couple days before your cruise begins. So maybe looking for a past cruise compass might be your only other best option right there. First time booking Royal Caribbean, are suites worth it on independence and freedom? I mean, they can be. It's kind of like booking, first class on a airplane, or seats really close to the stage at a concert, right? You're paying way more. You're getting a very similar experience. Not quite the same, but similar. Is it worth it? If you can afford it, sure, why not? People love it, but obviously there'll be a lot of people who will say, "Hey, you can take that money and the difference to go back to maybe just a balcony room or an inside room, and then book maybe another cruise or just save money in general." So yeah. When will we know all the restaurants on Icon? Whenever Royal Caribbean feels like revealing it. Fortunately or unfortunately, Royal Caribbean with the new ship like Icon, they're going to stretch it out. They're going to give it. They're going to give us take their sweet time because they want to make sure the marketing engine is running at full power. So if they tell us everything now, and the ship doesn't launch till January, can't build the hype. The hype's going to drop. So they're going to drop little bits on there. So at some point this year, we'll get that information, but I have no idea when. Is it worth paying extra for an amplified versus non-amplified chip if everything else in the area is the same? That's a hard question to answer, Bryden, because this depends on how much you value some of those features versus other people, right? I can't answer that question. It's just too subjective to give an answer. I know it's kind of a lame answer, like, Matt, just tell me. It depends on you. Some people would say no. Some people will say yes because they value having a playmakers versus not having, or vintages. There's a lot of considerations, and ultimately it's totally subjective. So what you got to do, Brian, is look at what the differences are between the two ships you're considering and see which options matter more to you right there. Do you really need to use a travel agent? Yes. I mean, you should. You only stand to benefit from using a good travel agent. I'm telling you this. I use a good travel agent. I've been on a bazillion cruises. I still use a very good travel agent because they will save you time and maybe even money along the way. It's not about booking the cruise. Anybody can go to the Royal Caribbean website, type your credit card information, and book a cruise. That's not the problem. But you're not thinking fourth dimensionally. You're not thinking about what other discounts could you be missing out on, or special rates that travel agents only have, or what happens when you have a question and you want to change, cancel. Did you book refundable or non-refundable? Do you know the difference? And what happens if next week you want to cancel that cruise? There's a lot of considerations. A good travel agent is your partner in that. And the best part, they cost you nothing. They should cost you nothing extra. So keep that in mind. Do you think the zip line or the hot air balloon is worth it? We're booked Thrill Island and super excited for that. The problem with the hot air balloon is it rarely goes up because it requires the wind to be very calm. And in my experience, pretty rare. The zip line, however, is a great idea. I've done that. I've done both. I think they're both great. I think, obviously, if the hot air balloon can't go up, you'll get a refund. They'll cancel it and say, here's your refund. So give it a try. Sure, why not? Just keep in mind that I'd say your chances of the hot air balloon going up are less than 50-50, in my opinion. What do you not like about Royal Caribbean? I wish they were more consistent with their policies. I think that compared to like Carnival Cruise Line, I think that Royal Caribbean's complimentary food by the pool deck, could use some improvement right there. Those are two things that come off the top of my head, quite frankly. Is the new main dining room menu fleet wide? Not yet, but it's getting on most of the ships tomorrow. The plan is to get it on all the ships by like early February. But it's getting on more and more ships. It's on Mariner, it's on Liberty, it's on Symphony, it's on Wonder. A lot of ships. Tips for first-time cruisers: book as early as you can. Use a good travel agent. Really does help you quite a bit. Pre-book anything you're looking to get, whether it's your drink packages, shore excursions, Wi-Fi. It will be cheaper for most of those things if you book it before the cruise. And even if it's not cheaper, it will only be the same price. Like nothing costs you more if you pre-book it. That makes sense. So pre-book it. Some things can sell out, so definitely pre-book those kinds of things. And then read a past cruise compass from the sailing you're going on to get an idea of what to expect. We keep an archive past cruise compasses over at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Is there room service on Adventure of the Seas, and is it free? There is room service, but it costs extra. For breakfast, the room service, there's a subset. There's a complimentary option that is compliment free. And if you're staying in a suite, then on any ship, then room service is free no matter which meal it is. How far in advance do you book your cruises? It kind of depends on the cruise. I try to book my cruise many months in advance. I always tell people, the earliest you can book it, the better. Now, do I sometimes book a last minute cruise? Yes. But I try to book my cruises at least 6 months in advance, if not more. It's a matter of being able to schedule it that far in advance. But like, for like spring break and times in the summer when I know my kids are out of school, so I don't have to worry about that. We try to book it as early as we can because the prices only go up over time. So we try to book our cruises as early as you can. Again, not every cruise I necessarily book like more than 6 months in advance, but that's the exception. And a lot of times I'm like, oofa, that's a lot of money right there. That's a spicy meatball. And guys, if I didn't answer your question, please feel free. Come back again next Monday. We'll be live again on Monday, or post your question on our message boards at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Until then, have a great rest of your day, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. We'll talk again very soon, right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.